Suppose you, suppose you think of perception like this, that out there is the world, out there is the chair, let's say, and over here is you, and you know that the chair is green. How did you do that? Okay, I have here a simple chair. Over here's the chair. What color is the chair? Green. Okay, so you know it's green. How did you do that? You saw it, right? That's what perception is. Perception is the intermediary between the world and you, in virtue of which you gain knowledge. Okay, so you could define perception like that. So if you're looking at an animal and asking, does it perceive? Is this a sensory system? You're looking at some organs an animal has and saying, is this a sensory system of the animal? The question you're asking really is this a way in which the animal gets knowledge of the world around it? Well, that's what perception is. It's just defined as what it is in virtue of which you can get knowledge of the stuff around you. Okay? So think about assertion in language. If I make a remark, you're dealing with an animal species and you're looking at some sounds they make and asking, are those sounds a language? Is that what's going on here? Well, I'm saying the question here is like the question about assertion. The question whether these animals have a language, whether they are making assertions. Assertion is just what takes you from the speaker knowing something to the hearer knowing something. So you can't see the chair. I can see the chair. And I say to you, the chair is green. And now you know the chair is green. How did that happen? I made the assertion. I made the remark. The assertion is, you hearing the assertion is like the perception. It's what gets you from me knowing to you knowing. Yep. Okay. So much on the function of language and how you might think of assertion there as being what gets you from one person knowing to another person knowing. I mean, it's obviously a plausible candidate for the function of language that it should be working like this. And if you've got a species that doesn't have a language in this sense, it will be of great advantage to it to get something that does this work. Yeah? So it's a reasonable candidate for being a function of language to transmit knowledge. Okay, that's all right? Okay. Well, what does that tell us about the role of causation in the working of language? What does that tell us about the causal theory of reference? I think it suggests something about how it could be that the causal theory of reference is essential to language having the kind of function that it does, doing the kind of work for us that it does. You need a sign system to be subject to the causal theory of reference if it's going to perform this function. And what's reference, anyway? The puzzle about reference is, reference has a connection to truth. Remember that stuff about Sally is tall? That the reference to the sign Sally is the object on whose tallness or not the truth or falsity of the whole sentence depends. So reference has a connection to sentences being right or wrong. The rightness or wrongness in the whole sentence depends on how things are with the object you're referring to. So reference and truth are connected to our objectives in using a language. If you say something true, you're getting it right. If you say something false, you're getting it wrong. But what does the cause of your use of a sign have to do with your objectives in using a language? I mean, when you use the signs you do, they have many characteristics. You utter the signs you do at a particular place. You utter them at a particular time. There are particular causes behind you uttering those signs. Why should any of those factors have anything special to do with the meaning of the signs? That is not obvious. Maybe they don't have anything to do with the meaning of the signs. I mean, the location at which they're uttered typically doesn't affect the meanings of the signs you're using. So why does the causes of your using those signs, why should that have anything to do with them having the meanings that they do? But if Kripke and Putnam and Evans are right, then reference and cause are connected. They're saying reference is a causal notion. But why should that be? That is really a puzzle. They make quite a persuasive case for saying you're referring to whatever caused your use of the sign when you think about all those examples, or the dominant source of your use of the sign. But why should that be singled out as something special to do with meaning? Lots of things have a dominant source. I mean, you know, if there's a commotion in a room, you might say, well, what was the dominant cause of that commotion? That's not to say the thing has any reference, has any anything to do with anything right or wrong. Well, if reference has something to do with our objectives in using the language, then reference must play a role in letting language fulfill its functions. So, suppose you say reference is nothing but X, then X, whatever it is, has got to play a role in allowing language to fulfill its functions. So what's the function of language? Hello? We know what the function of language is. To transmit knowledge. Very good. So the function of language is the transmission of knowledge, and assertion is defined by its role in the transmission of knowledge. Then if I say Sally is tall, the function of that sentence, the function of that assertion, is to transmit knowledge about Sally's tallness from me to you. So the reference to the term Sally has to play some role in allowing me to transmit knowledge from me to you. Okay, that's how far we've got. Everything is plain as day at this point. You know what usually happens at this point is that something goes terribly wrong and you say, well, wait a minute. But we're all right so far. Okay. Okay. Well, what is knowledge? Any of you guys in epistemology? One? Yeah. Well, you don't need to. We're about to do it very promptly. Right. In epistemology, they spend whole terms on this question, what is knowledge? But I think we can do this pretty briskly. You know that if P is true, right? You can't know something unless it's true. And you can't know it unless you believe it. You've got to think it's true. Yeah, you can't say, well, I know perfectly well this, so I just don't believe a word of it. That makes no sense. Right? But it's not enough that it should be true that you have the belief. Sorry, that your belief should be true. There are lots of things people think are true, and they are true, and they're just lucky hits. They're just guessing, and they get it right. Yeah, or they don't have enough evidence, but they're getting it right. Anyhow, that can happen. You form an opinion, and it just happens to be right. Who will be the next president? You may have a guess, but it's not knowledge. You don't know who's going to be the next president. So the last condition on it being knowledge is that you have to get it right, but it mustn't be an accident that you got it right. Yeah. So the belief's got to be true, and it mustn't be an accident that it's true. And then epistemology consists in a lot of arguments about what this means. It mustn't be an accident. Some people say it means you've got to have enough evidence, for example. Okay, that's what they do in epistemology. They argue about what this means. It isn't an accident. Well, I think the thing is, it isn't an accident is a causal notion. What's going to be happening for you to know that P is that, take this example. You don't just believe that the chair is green. You know the chair is green, right? So how is that happening? Well, the greenness of the chair is what's causing you to think that the chair is green. The greenness of the chair is propagating through the intervening space and impressing it on you that it is green. So knowledge is a causal notion. If you weren't causally connected to the fact, you wouldn't have any knowledge of it. To know is to be caused to believe by the very fact you know. Okay? So what's perception? Perception is what stands in between the chair and your knowledge of it. So if perception is going to allow you to have knowledge of the chair, then perception of the chair has to be caused by the chair. If you just think about this, you can see that perception must be a causal notion. Perceiving an object requires that the object be causing your sensory state. So let me go back to the example we had last week. Remember the tomato behind the mirror? Remember our old friend? This is you. This is tomato. This is tomato A, and this is tomato B. Remember this? Okay, so tomato A is completely hidden by the mirror. Tomato B is not. Tomato B is reflected in the mirror. Okay, which tomato is causally impacting on you? Tomato A or tomato B? B, very good. Is tomato A